Hey, if you got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks Thursday night. It's the 23rd of April, 2026, 8 p.m. Central Time Zone, 9 Eastern. If you caught this any other time than that, you've caught it on our recorded channel. That's okay. It's the same stuff. Hang around. Don't go anywhere. Some of you watched it on that channel. Welcome. We'll get started here in just a second. Mark Robson's hanging out with me. Mark, welcome back. Did you hear me? Welcome back.
Thank you. Welcome back.
you were very intent on your whatever you're working on there. You loading up pictures? Getting them
No, I
ready?
was loading up the live feed.
Oh, the live feed. Yeah. Brian's checking in out there. Brian, good to see you. He says, unfortunately, he won't be able to join live. Thanks. Well, you did kind of join live, but I understand. I understand what you mean. We appreciate you coming out. So, been a long, Mark. I don't know about you. It's been a long couple months. Maybe I should take a couple weeks off. I will be taking. I will be out next week. I think from the podcast, so I'm going to take some time off. But was experiencing some computer stuff. You were too, but experiencing a little computer outage that kept me up to about 12:30 last night. And it was an early rise. It sounds like you've been putting a few hours in.
Yeah, spring's always busy for us. This has been a slower spring because we've been pushing off some work, but typically budgets get approved at the end of the year, and then everybody wants to try buying them before the end of the first quarter. So
yeah,
we're just finishing up.
You're irrigation, right? Irrigation stuff?
Water and wastewater treatment.
The underground stuff.
Yeah, pump stations, water treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants.
Yeah.
If stuff that you can't really outsource because you have to generate it where you're using it and get rid of it where you're using it.
It is a local commodity, right? For the most part. Maybe not so much in Dubai. They load it up in trucks and take it somewhere else. But no, it's usually it's a local problem, right? You gotta keep it around and get it taken care of.
And every time that everybody wants bigger homes, and they're going into the urban areas, and every new subdivision needs a pump station and need more water to treat it and drink it. And we've been doing for 20. Well, as a company, we'll be 20 years next year, but as a group of people, we've been doing for 27 years in the area.
Wow. And residential, commercial, both?
Municipal. So we actually do the control systems for the major municipalities.
So the big stuff, the big pipes.
Big stuff. Yeah. Yeah, like 4, 5, 6 foot diameter for some of the stuff.
The mains, so to speak, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
And then the massive treatment centers for treating all the wastewater.
In it, do you go how far out from do you cover? How much?
90% of it is within 2 hours of us.
Oh, okay.
But we support a couple of First Nations communities, which are it's like a 20-hour trip to get there. Like you fly to very northern. Well, we treat communities that are on the side of Hudson's Bay.
Okay.
So way north.
Wow.
So
that is way north.
You go way north on a flight, and then you have to get a charter to get to these flying communities almost.
Yeah. And I assume the equipment's trucked in, right? All the stuff's brought in, and then you're there for install or whatever, right?
We do the commissioning, but we do the control system, so we don't do the heavy stuff.
Okay.
But we do a lot of pump stations. If you see you'll see like a reservoir in the new subdivision, and then they have to get that water out to the treatment centers, where we do the control system that moves the water out.
Okay. Yeah, all that stuff's underground, right? You'd be surprised at how much is in any major city, how much is under there, right?
It's crazy. Like it's we're working on one right now that's got, I think it's got 500 horsepower pumps moving water.
Ooh.
And that's only one section of the city.
Yeah. Wow.
So
yeah. It's all waste.
That's water. That was moving water.
It's moving clean water.
Clean water.
Okay. So you got it coming in, going. Okay.
Yep. Both ends. Right. Going in, going out.
Going in and going out. Yeah. All right. Let me kick this thing off. We're both a little tired, so let's crank this thing out. We'll get ourselves to bed here. I turned my laptop off. I am not going to work on it again tonight. I am done. Done. Anyways, let me do this. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 678 with guest Mark Robson, recorded on April 23rd, 2026. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in a stormy, it's that time of year, stormy Bellevue, Nebraska. Mark, you guys, what's spring weather like for you? Get thunderstorms and that kind of stuff, or is it pretty normal?
We had snow last weekend.
Oh yeah. Well, you're in Canada for God's sakes, right? So it's
It
bound
was
to happen, right?
it was lake effect. Just coming in, we were driving back from a little wine tour and
Yeah.
on the edge of Lake Ontario. And once you got 50 minutes north from it, you were fine. But I was driving with full snow in the window.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes and goes pretty fast, right? This time of year. You have mosquitoes out already? Have
Yep.
you get yeah.
Yeah, left mosquitoes last week. We only lost our
Mm.
snow a week and a half ago.
Jeez. Yeah. Canada. You guys do it right. You just do it right. Anyways, we'll post the show with some world-class show notes out there at the averageguy.tv. Big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. If you're on that team, thank you. Appreciate what you do every single month. If you want to join that team, we've got a $5 plan. The averageguy.tv/Patreon. Big help in all the things we do here on the network. And then if you want to use the network affiliate link for Amazon, just head out to the averageguy.tv, upper right-hand corner, click through, and that's all you need to do. So appreciate you guys doing that, and appreciate all that you do to help us out here at the network. Mark Robson is back. Mark, it's been a while, but those cables that are on your wall have always been the same. Like every time I have you on, I'm like, you just got cables strung up on, hanging on the wall. Why are there cables on the wall?
Because that's where the hooks are. I moved into this room
That's a good answer.
11, 12 years ago, and those hooks were already there. And I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, and you never moved it since. There's some boxes on the floor. Or is that like a PC equipment and things like that, or what?
MetaQuest 3 and a new router.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
MetaQuest and then the head strap, and then a new Asus router.
You were telling me before the show you're having some networking problems and you were troubleshooting some stuff. How did that end up?
It was that old adage that you should toss away a cable that you think is still going to work, because for the price of the cable versus a little latch that breaks off, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. That had the snap.
Yeah,
it was a network cable, right? And the little snap had come off, and so it worked its way out or such.
Yeah, but I never noticed it because there was a mesh network at the other end of it that ended up being an access point for all the systems. And only by looking at the app tonight on my phone, when I realized that my desktops were going through the mesh, did I realize that there was a problem with the system.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-second fix, and once I got it, now I just got to replace the cable, and it'll never happen again.
Yeah, but the tendency is, right, we tend to, like, so you're like, oh, so you dig into the software, and then you're like, or the firmware on the thing, and then you're messing around changing stuff, and then pretty soon you're resetting it, and then you're like, and then you all to realize it was just the cable, right? I think sometimes I've gotten better at this, but just make sure everything's seated tight on stuff, right?
Well, and it wasn't local, right? It was at the other end of the house. It's where the distribution switch was. So, and I even reset. I have a switch in this room, and I reset that switch, thinking, okay, maybe that was a problem. And I'm still only getting 100 megabits on speed tests, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And then I walk to the other end and look at my switch, and all the lights are off on that one port.
Mm-hmm.
And move those cable a little bit. No, look at that; they're all came back up.
That's funny. So, got a new cable, I'm assuming?
Not yet. Now I got a temporary permanent fix.
Okay. I thought maybe you'd grabbed one off the wall there.
No, those, I'm not sure those are fast enough or long enough. Actually, that one might be, but I think I'm the same as just about every other average guy when it comes to this stuff. We have cable after cable after cable, but we got it working fine. Now it's going to stay there like that for another 2 years until it doesn't work again, and then we'll curse ourselves for not fixing it.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but we're gonna get to the barbecue stuff. This is always the big barbecue and grill show. But so hang tight. I know you saw that in the titles, and you're like, why aren't they talking about this? But my cable management is horrific because I'm changing things around all the time, and every time I go to do cable management, and I'll do it. 3 days later, I'm thinking, oh, I need to move that, and then I gotta snip all the zip ties.
The cable ties, yep.
Yeah. And so do you find the same thing, or are you pretty good at
I don't
keeping
even
track?
bother doing this. I haven't in this house. I haven't bothered. I bought a new rack. I had big goals over the winter to buy. I bought a rack. I bought a Rosewell 15 bay network enclosure or server enclosure. I bought a Dell file server that to use as external drives. So I have enough room now for 23 in my Unraid box. I have a planned 23 drive Unraid box,
Oof.
and it's still sitting in pieces. It's still not assembled yet.
Hey, you could probably sell, depending on when you bought it, you might be able to sell it for 2 or 3 times what you bought it. When did you buy it?
Well, I bought the case. I bought all the stuff was used, but
Okay.
all the biggest drive I got is 8 terabytes.
Okay.
But I have now 2 Unraid servers, one with 50 and one currently has 30 that'll migrate the 50 into it when it's done.
Yeah.
So, but I've been following a guy called Ebercorp who's doing a 0 to hero Unraid package.
Okay.
But he hasn't updated in a few months. But he's starting from ground zero. So I have an Unraid system working, and now I'm going to start a brand new one.
Yeah.
Following proper guidelines, not just sort of hit and miss.
Hacking it together.
Hacking it together.
Yeah.
So that's what the new system is designed for, is to start fresh with a brand new platform. I think I got an i7 7700, 32 gig of RAM, 1060 video card. Like a 16 port. I'm going to be running a NAS expander in this one for the first time.
Okay.
So instead of running an SAS card or an HBA card by itself, I'm going to run it through a NAS expander to get me more drives. So from the 16, you can run like 128 drives off of it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yep.
So I only need 23. 15 and 8 is 23. But
okay. It's going to hum. It's going to hum a little bit.
And it won't be that bad. I think I'm running the whole thing on under 1,000 watts of power. A 650 watt power supply on one and a 230 in the other.
Yeah. It's a lot. 1,000 watts is a lot.
Only if it draws it.
Yeah.
Like my Unraid now is pulls like 25 or 30 watts, I think.
Yeah. How many drives?
12.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You must have a pretty efficient board.
It's a Ryzen 7 1700.
Okay. Yeah, I have an old Core i7, and I had 6 drives in there. It's got 32 gig. No, it's got 64 now. And that runs 40, 45 watts, idle. And I've got all the drives shut down. That's just that Core i7. That older i7, I don't know. I don't know if maybe I got something configured wrong or something. I was hoping to get more in the 20s.
I think at one point I was down to 12s.
Yeah, 45's not bad. Yeah. Well, this is the big grill and barbecue show, Mark. We'd love to talk about Unraid servers. Maybe we'll have you back to do those. Hey, you mentioned you bought a Blackstone. And for the folks who are joining this for the very first time, Mark and I and others in the past have been talking. Every year we do a big barbecue show. Talk a little about it. Mark will have some pictures, some of the stuff he's cooking and such, things like that. Mark, how many grills do you have at this point? Grills, smokers.
Yeah, 2 pellet grills, a Komodo Joe, Big Joe, a Uni pizza oven, and a Blackstone.
Okay. Yeah. So
I've cut down a little bit.
Why the Blackstone? Like what they've been popular, but why the Blackstone?
It's something that I've been looking at for a long time. Didn't want to pay. Part of the barbecue for me is always a new challenge. See if I like it. So I've gone through. I think I've gone through 10 or 11 grills in the last 12 years. Either upgrading what I have or trying something new. And I've done a lot of charcoal, done a lot of smoking, and done a lot of briskets, a lot of pulled pork. Blackstone is just something I hadn't used before, so it's something new.
Yeah.
So they were on sale at Costco. I think they're
4 burner,
2
burner. So the small one.
Yeah, 22 inch.
Yeah,
but there's only my wife and I, so I don't need to have a massive one, and I don't have enough room on the deck.
You may regret that. To be honest.
I don't think so. From what I've used so far, I'm happy to do some stuff on it, but not everything.
Yeah. That's not a bad place to be, especially as you're getting started, because that big grill, you got to clean that grill every time, right? And so
Yeah,
the more surface area that you have, it's just more work to get, to get that done. Do those have a cover that stay on it that,
yeah.
you lift the cover up? Okay. Yeah, that's the other. Phil, my oldest, bought one of those, and it didn't. I don't know if it's the brand, but it didn't have it has a cover, but you just can't push
You
it
have to
back.
pick, yeah, you have to pick the thing up and take it off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take it
that's
off,
what the
and it's
bigger ones
not
I
as
think have.
convenient. Yeah,
Like this,
yeah.
this was a small one. It was right price, but I paid half again at least in accessories for what I paid for the grill. By the time I got the cleaning
Mm,
kit and the rubstone and uh, the covers for it and the new tank, a propane tank, and
yeah.
so
Geez, that these days, those things are expensive.
I
I mean,
haven't.
just to
Well, I
put,
had one already. I had a 10-pound one that I had for a gas fireplace, an outdoor fire pit. So
mm,
I haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't needed it yet, but yeah, but pellets are not cheap anymore either. They're getting like I'm going
yeah,
through
yeah,
probably 300 or 400 pounds of pellets a year.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just another. But I'm going to use it for like we did when you're seasoning it. I seasoned it I think 7 times, and then I cooked onions on it, which is a method that they say to do. Um, and then made onion dip with the onions.
Oh,
Um,
nice, nice.
yeah, it was this girl called Blackstone Betty. I followed her. I'll share a picture of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Um, a girl called Blackstone Betty Blackstone's done a very good job of using social media, getting people on their brand, and so they end up pushing all their stuff through them, right? Like they recommend using the Blackstone
Yep.
curing
Yep.
paste and the Blackstone this and the Blackstone that.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Share this.
Go ahead and share that on screen. Yeah, that has kind of become, Pit Boss has kind of done that too. They start coming up with their own accessories, which, like you said, are half as much as the grill, but for them is twice the
So
profit.
it's
You
like
know,
HP and ink.
right, right,
Like HP at
right,
one point, I think was making 80% of their profit from ink.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so you got the grill. Did you start them in the center, or why you got them around the side? What's going on there?
So you do. This was 7 layers of their curing oil or curing paste, whatever the stuff is, which is a mixture, I think, of coconut oil and a couple other oils. And then this girl, Blackstone Betty, said that there's something to do with the sulfur that comes from the onions that helps with the curing of the top of these grills.
Mm, mm,
So she said, take an entire. So that was a 5-pound bag of onions
mm.
that I ended up going down to about a cup and a half or 2 cups finished.
Really?
Yeah. And
Just
so
cooked
you
cooked them all the way down.
cook them all the way down.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you let them sizzle on the side, and then you bring them all to the middle, mix them all up again, then stick them all back to the sides again. So this was about 3/4 way through cooking them.
Mm,
And then from that, I did burgers that night too.
mm.
Um, but that was a homemade French onion dip from the
Yeah,
onions.
there you go. Yeah, that'd be
So
delicious.
that used about half the onions. So, and that's the only time I used it. I've had it for 2 weeks, and it just hasn't been. We haven't had a chance to use it again.
Burgers make sense, and a lot of people think about it. What else is your is your thinking ahead for some recipes? What else are you gonna put on there?
We love doing Italian sausage with peppers and onions.
Oh yeah, oh,
So I'm gonna do a
yeah.
variation of that, but with a almost like a Philly cheesesteak twist to it. So I'm gonna do the peppers and onions, um, get them all nice and cooked up, then put a layer of provolone cheese in the back of it, and then put the hoagie bun on the back of that, and then flip them up
Nice.
the other way. And I'll
Yeah.
have the sausages cooking on the smoker beside it, and then have a marinara sauce to dip into. So definitely like fajitas. We picked up some ginger garlic pork from Costco today. That's all
Mm-hmm.
like sort of like shredded pork but
Mm-hmm.
uncooked.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do that with some stir fry veggies on that. Um, I don't know how much I'll be using it during the week, just because of all the cleanup you have to do afterwards. Like if I use my Yoder, like we cooked chicken burgers on it tonight, so we cooked burgers on it. I finished it up. I let the dogs out, I put the cover on it, and I'm done. I
Yeah.
walk away. I don't have to
Yeah.
touch it.
Right.
This one, when you're
Right.
done with it, you have to clean it, scrape it, clean it, and then re-season it, and then put the cover on.
Yeah.
So it's a little more. little
It is
more
more
work.
work. It's kind of what stopped me every time I think I'm going to get one, because I looked at this size
Yeah.
grill that you had. They were Walmart was running some deals on them here at the early spring deals for whatever reason. They were about half price, which is still probably over more than I wanted to spend. But um, and then I think about the cleaning routine, and to your point, on the grill. And Mark, I bought the pellet grill a couple years ago, and I've got the Pit Boss Austin XL. Great grill. I made tons of beef jerky on it, but I still go back to the gas, the gas grill. When I'm doing stuff. We made steak fajitas. We got a London broil and made steak fajitas on Sunday, and God, nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's a first love thing that I just know how to cook on that thing probably better.
I don't think I could ever go back to a gas grill.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I do, because the charcoal for me does everything. Well, if I want high heat, I use charcoal. If I do, well, actually, this, so it was our 22nd anniversary last year, and we were going to go out for a nice dinner, and one of our dogs was not feeling well, so I ended up going out to a local, like a Whole Foods, and went to a Whole Foods, and I dropped about $100 on a steak, a Fritz sauce, which is like a mayonnaise, a flavored mayo, chimichurri, and a couple of desserts. So for a lot less than we paid a steakhouse, we got a 3-pound tomahawk.
Yeah.
And that tomahawk turned into, so it was a tomahawk the first night, which was that meal, with the chimichurri and the Fritz sauce and wedge fries and air fryer mushrooms. And then it was cooked up like that. And then the next night it turned into fajitas. And the third night was fajitas. And the fourth night we had steak and shrimp fajitas. And then the fifth night we just had shrimp fajitas. But it was so $100, but it was over 5 nights. And that was smoked on the smoker until it was 127, 128, and then tossed onto the coals and just finished right directly on the coals.
Yeah.
So
I gotta do your reverse sear. I have been. I'm pretty good at the sear. Get it super hot, sear it, put it off to the side, let it come up to temp. But I've got to get better at the bring it up to temp, then blazing hot, sear it, and bring it in.
I think of it almost like a reverse like almost like a smoked sous vide.
Yeah.
So like people say, well, you can sous vide it and do the same. I'm like, yeah, but this way I'm getting the smoke flavor into the meat, and it's still doing it slowly. I'm cooking it at 180, 200 degrees,
right?
And takes an hour and a bit for a 3-pound steak, and then 15 minutes to finish it off. And
I think I got too big of a smoker, to be honest. Because there's sometimes we want to smoke stuff that's small, and I feel bad about putting that on the smoker. I shouldn't. I shouldn't.
I have a 680. Okay. So I have a I have the same size as your Pit Boss.
The XL.
Yeah. But I have a so the one I have is actually 1,000 square inches, because it's got a 680 plus I have 300 square inch rack. So I'm 980 square inches when I'm done.
Yep. Yeah, we're the same. Yeah.
And I use that when I'm doing overnight cooks, because it's got a better controller on it.
Right.
Or if I'm doing jerky, I do it on that one. But I only use that one 4 or 5 times a year. Or if I'm doing a bunch of appies, I'll put it on that one. Yeah. And that one's on my lower deck, so on my patio. So my Yoder is only 480 square inches, and I use that one in the summer 3-4 nights a week.
Because that would have been a perfect opportunity with that London broil. Throw it in the smoker, let it smoke for real low temp, right? For a good chunk of I shouldn't say good chunk, but for part of the afternoon. And then at 5, right before dinner, fire up the gas grill, get it super hot, sear it, bring it in, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I need to do more of that.
And I did my smaller is a relative term, but my 480 square inch one, I did the turkey on it this year. So it was a 3-day dry brine turkey in a pan. And part of that is that we just need more room in the kitchen. So that was a 3-day dry brine, seared at, well, not seared, cooked at high temp. I think it's 450 degrees for the first 30 minutes, breast side down.
Okay.
Then put on the smoker for I think 2 hours or 3 hours to finish up.
Oh, okay.
And with the dry brine, it's the juiciest bird I've done it twice now. And the looks you get when people dig into it, I'm like, oh my God, like what have you done to this thing?
Yeah.
But dry brining is a secret. Like we don't even, if we buy chicken now or pork, we dry brine it, toss it in the freezer.
What's that process? Walk me through that process.
Just the turkey or dry brining chicken?
Anything, just the chicken, because most people do chicken more than they do turkey.
So dry brining chicken is a teaspoon per 3 pounds of chicken.
Okay.
Or a third of a teaspoon per pound of chicken.
Right.
And literally toss it into the bag. Let it sit there for 24 hours if you're going to cook it next day, and then cook it on the grill. You don't have to wash it off. You just cook. If we're buying it to freeze it, we'll toss it in there, toss it in the freezer bags. By the time it's thawed out, it's had its 24 hours, and it still turns out fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a game changer. We've never had dried chicken since.
Just salt?
Just salt.
And then any particular kind of salt?
I think you're supposed to use kosher salt. Kosher salt, I think, is what's recommended. But we won't do it any other way now. And we started doing that now with pork chops.
Okay.
Now this one is a little more. This has got orange peel and salt and pepper and a couple other herbs into it. It's a recipe I've had from a friend of mine, and it makes about 4 or 5 tablespoons, and then it's just stuffed underneath the skin, stuffed in the cavity. But yeah, it's the first time my dad had it, he took a bite and he sort of looked up at me and said, "What did you do to this? Like this is unbelievable."
So so then you said 450 breast side down for
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're basically, I mean, you're kind of searing it. You're getting that skin kind of right. Then turn it over, smoke it at that point to temp.
Yeah, to temp.
Right, to temp. Okay.
And we do that part. The first part we do in the oven because it's easier to get high heat in the oven.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then put it on the barbecue to let it finish cooking. And then bring it in half an hour before you start eating or whatever it is, and cover it with foil. And
yeah. Well, you shared that trick with me. Get it done early, wrap it up, throw it in the cooler, just let it sit, and that's been.
We do that with ribs all the time. Like back ribs, I don't do a 3-2-1 method for back ribs. I just do them salt, pepper, garlic until the bend test. And if they're done at 4 o'clock and we're going to eat at 5:30, I just wrap them in foil and stick them in the oven on as low as the oven will go, and wait till we're done.
Yeah. No. We always used to say, "Don't come to this show hungry," and that's true as well. Okay, on those ribs again, tell me. So, what are you doing on those ribs? Say it again.
Salt, pepper, garlic, which is the one I like the most is a brand called Suckle-Busters. Something about the garlic they use sort of turns it into almost like a slurry when it hits the moisture from the meat. And cook them at 250 until the bend test, which is when you pick them up at one end and you can start just seeing the crust start to break apart. And then just before you serve them, you give them a little splash of lemon juice. So they're basically dry. You taste the meat a lot more. They're not sickly sweet, and they're very fresh with the salt, the pepper, the salt, the garlic, and the lemon juice together.
They shrink up on the bone. Same.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just not quite as much. But if you ever I took a KCBS course, Kansas City Barbecue Society course on judging ribs a long time ago, and there was a contest in town that it was an actual KCBS event, and they say that the bone shouldn't be pulled out of the rib. If you can pull the bone out of the rib, they're overdone. So you should actually have to bite the meat off the bone. It should come off clean. Yeah. But it should be that you're having to pull the meat off the bone, not that the bone falls out the meat. So that's what I try and get to. And when you have them like that, you still have them nice and juicy when they're dry.
Yeah.
Where if you do the 3-2-1 method, where you cook them for 3 hours raw, 3 hours bare, 2 hours in foil, then 1 hour back again, I find that they tend to be too soft. I want to have a bit of a bite to my meat. I want to be able to have to pull it off the bone a little bit.
Yeah. Texture.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Everybody's got their own kind of way going about that. Which Sarah and I were just talking about ribs the other day, and I was like, I have never gotten my rib game on. I just have never. It's like I kind of need. We've talked about it. My brother-in-law. Every time I'm hanging out with him, I'm like, okay, how do you do this? And I'm like, I just need to write it down. I need to write it down. It needs to be on a card. I need to like follow it a couple times. I
And
need to
there's
do it
different
like
cuts
2 or
too.
3 weeks in a row.
Like if you get like I don't like I tend, and this is all personal preference, but I don't tend to like side ribs or St. Louis ribs. I find them too fatty, so I go for the baby backs that I find are ribs are never lean, but they're leaner.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right. You're right. The fatty ribs I'm not into either.
so that's St. Louis or side
Okay.
ribs,
Yeah.
and baby back tend to be smaller and less fatty.
Okay.
So, but again, that's personal preference, and
Yeah,
and
no.
there's
Yeah,
guys out
no
there that will
wrong.
swear up
No
and down
wrong.
that no, like the St. Louis cut are the best cut. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, and
no
you're
problem.
not wrong. If that's
No,
what you like, you're not
yep.
wrong.
It's like saying you're a Ford guy or a Chevy guy or a Subaru guy. It's
Yeah, you're not
there's
wrong.
there's no wrong answers. It's personal
You
preference.
you can have your own. Yeah, I do need to get I need to get my rib game on a little bit more. It's one of those kinds of things. With I don't know what's going on in Canada, but beef prices in the United States spiked. Right?
We
We have
haven't we've
just
seen one steak. Everything else is chicken and pork and
I
turkey.
know. I know. I was just talking to Ed about this last Sunday, and I was just like, with beef prices where they've been, it's just been hard. But there are some great recipes that you can do with both. We have been we haven't done this a lot lately, but we should do more of buying the whole loin, whole beef. I'm sorry, whole pork loin, and cutting those up into chops, right? And then you
Yep.
get a couple different kinds of chops out of that. You can even,
Do
even
jerky.
yeah. Oh, I never I hadn't thought
You
of
can do
that.
pork jerky out of pork loin.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you cut that? Like, what's the cut look like?
Uh,
I'm
well,
used to a jerky, in long strips because I use London broil, or I'm using the top round on that they've
oh,
cut
my
off.
jerky is typically I used to use eye of round, which is a very similar cut
Yep.
to
Yep.
really similar shape to pork loin.
Okay.
But no, a lot of people
Okay.
now are doing
Oh, huh. So just thin cut
yeah,
pork loin, put it on.
like quarter inch
Okay.
probably, and then yeah. Now the downside of pork is you have to make sure it's really done. Like
Yeah.
beef, if you're trying it when it's sort of not quite done, it's
Yeah.
not as much of an issue.
No. No. No, pork, you gotta get a little bit more to the done side. Is that what you're saying?
But USDA says pork has to be 145, so it's
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
It originally was 165, which is well
Mhm.
done, but I do mine to 145 because the USDA says it's okay, and so
Yeah.
by the time it's dehydrated, it's there. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about beef brisket right now for us is $10 a pound.
Yeah. Okay, that's
So you guys are like
yeah.
$8 US a pound for brisket,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
on sale.
Yeah. That makes a pretty expensive brisket,
Yeah,
right? And to be honest, I mean, it's not that great of a cut of meat, right? I mean, that's why it's so big. And that's why we do so much trickery to it, right? To get it to taste good and all the things that we do, right? To get it. And so $10 a pound for brisket, all of a sudden that's $150 brisket,
oh yeah.
you know? Yeah.
I got my wife loves one that I make called pepper stout beef, and uh, it's slow roasted and braised pot roast over veggies. And I used to pay $3 a pound for it.
Yeah.
It's on sale right now for $6.85 a pound
Right.
for pot roast,
Right. For pot roast.
and that shrinks down to half of what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's I don't make it much anymore because it's $75-$80 worth of pot roast to do the
Right.
recipe.
Right. It's like, we used to do a lot of pork shoulder, pork butt,
Yep.
right? I haven't watched the prices on that. Have those gone up? Has that been a
No.
significant? Yeah.
We're getting. I bought some the other day for $2 a pound.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I did one not that long ago. Right now it's on sale for 3.29 Canadian a pound for pork shoulder. I bought one a while ago, not to even do pulled pork with, but to do. Have you ever heard of tacos al pastor?
No.
So it's when it's a Mexican dish where it's almost like a vertical spit, and you put a pineapple on top and bottom
Mm,
of it.
mm, mm,
So it's marinated meat cooked on the
mhm.
spit. So we did one. I have a pastor stand. I did one on barbecue. I made too much of the pastor meat, so I put the rest of it in the freezer in a Ziploc in a freezer bag. Forgot what it was. Digging through the freezer one day, and I see this stuff, so I pull it out. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. It looks good. So we cooked it up, and as it's cooking, I'm like, this smells good.
Yeah.
It turned out it was pastor meat that we didn't label, and we made sandwiches out of it. But it was phenomenal just cooking on the grill, on the smoker.
Yeah.
So I bought another one of these things I bought like 15 pounds of pork shoulder to make pastor beef with it, or pastor pork with it. Right. And I'll label it as sandwich pork, and we'll do it not as a vertical spit, but just as a sandwich meat.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way. And you're not pulling it at all.
No.
It's sliced.
Yep. It's like chunks. It's you slice it up, and then you slice it on the edge, and then you stack it vertically.
Okay.
So you end up having them, they're sort of like 1/2-inch thick slices.
Against the grain, with the grain on the cut, or does
I can't even remember. I think yeah. Okay. Like it's. Have you ever seen a stack of shawarma up?
No, I probably have, but
it's a Lebanese vertical spit. So they make these.
Yeah.
So you make it like that. You layer it up. Yeah. It's got tons of sauce on it. Let it cook out. Well, I took that same thing, but instead of cooking it on the spit, I just cooked it right into the grill.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we don't have meat very often. We have burgers occasionally, but most of the time we're eating pork and chicken and some fish. Yeah.
I was just the other day, I was thinking, I mean, we had these fajitas, Sarah got a London broil for it. And I was like, man, it's been a while since we had beef. Now I haven't missed it, to be honest with you, because we're doing the pork and the chicken so well. You're like changing the way we kind of approached pork has been an incredible, like, all of a sudden you're just like, wait a minute, there's a ton of things you can do here.
Have you seen these smashed tacos?
No.
So we started doing these Asian smashed tacos, which is a real fusion dish because you're mixing Asian food with tacos, so Asian with Mexican.
Oh, that's okay. Sounds good.
It was delicious. So this is what I thought we were going to have last night. So that is a ground pork with ginger, rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, spring onion, garlic, and you make it like meatballs, and then you put it onto a griddle, put the taco on top of it, and you cook them until the whole thing's done, but it's flat. I keep them flipping back and forth. Okay. And so the taco's cooking in the pork juice.
Yeah.
And then we dressed it up with cilantro and spring onion, Japanese mayo, hoisin, and peanuts and red cabbage.
Ooh. Did you toast the peanuts or just straight peanuts?
No, just diced peanuts. Okay. And that was dinner, and that was phenomenal. And
I'd say
I was coming home last night.
That's a flavor explosion right there.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm coming home last night, and I got home later than I thought I was going to. And my wife said, "Do we have any smoked pork belly in the freezer?" Like, yep. So whenever we do pork belly, we do like a 2-foot piece at a time, but we cut it into 1-inch strips, and we just season it with salt, pepper, garlic, and cook it until it's soft, crispy but soft. Does that make sense? And then we vacuum seal it. So if we want to have our pork salad or pork belly salads we just pull a couple pieces out and make up our salad. Mm-hmm. Well, she made tacos similar to this, but with seasoned pork belly.
Pork belly?
Pork belly. So it was little pork belly cubes instead of the ground pork. But then with cilantro, spring onion, and then the toppings. And they were fantastic. So just pork belly strips, salt, pepper, garlic, and then the toppings. And
when on those pork bellies, is the fat all rendering off? On that? Okay.
Yeah, it turns. We don't want it to be too crispy. I've done it too crispy before, and that's a little. You want to pick it up, so when you pick the thing up, it sort of droops.
Yeah.
So it's you can still squeeze it and get some juice out of it, but it's not raw. It'll take like 5 or 6 hours to cook.
We did this thing with the pork shoulder where I did shoulder, loin, pork belly, ribs, and
a whole pig, a full pig.
Yeah, the whole hog, right?
Yeah.
It was there's a restaurant, I think it's in LA or something like that, where they do the whole hog kind of thing. And the pork bellies did not do what I thought they would do.
They need a long time.
Yeah.
Like I'm cooking mine for 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah. I might have, if I did it again, I haven't thought about this in a while. if I did it again, I might get those pork belly because I bought them already cubed, and so they had been they were clearancing them at the butcher, and they had cubed them up and seasoned them. I thought, oh, this is so cool. We'll freeze them, and then I can throw the cubes in on top of this stuff to add the flavor, right? For what we're looking for, and it didn't cook right for me, and the I didn't get the fat to render off of them properly, which I think I needed to get them, like you said, I think I needed to get them in there sooner.
Like that's what mine look like,
Okay.
and those are probably 3/4 done.
Yeah.
So they've shrunk down quite a bit. They have some texture to them. They're actually starting to almost delaminate on the fat veins.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But by the time you're done, most of the fat has rendered off those.
there's still probably 10% of it left, 15% of it left.
Okay.
But they're a very fatty thing to begin with.
Yeah, they're very fatty, dude.
Yeah.
It's it was the very first time I'd worked with them, so it's one of those things where I probably need to spend a little more. If I'm going to do it, I need to spend a little more time, kind of figuring it out. So you cut them in strips, smoked them. What did you do? As a traditional smoke, like 220
Yeah,
or
250 ish.
200, 225, 250
Yeah.
for 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Until you get to the point, like it's hard to say when they're done. Like you can use a thermometer to say if they're 205 or whatever, but
Right.
I look for the texture because I know what I want, and I know when I've gone too far. When they get to be where they're rigid, they're too far.
Okay.
So you want them to have some flexibility in it, but you want it to be rendered down quite a bit.
And then you can add those in or freeze them at that point to pull them back. Like you said, you use them as salad, right? You kind of
Yeah, we use them as top. So
at that point, you just pull them out, thaw them out, warm them back up, and throw them in the salad, or is that
what we typically do is we do three. We'll do three in a bag. So one of them will actually cut into small slivers, and we actually pan fry it to make bacon bits.
Oh,
like a bacon, like a style of bacon bit, so we make them nice and crispy. Right. And then the other ones are cut into sort of 1/2 inch or 1 inch cubes, and then just pan fry them until they get warmed up, and then toss them on top of the salad. And then the salad is a base of Asian noodles of some form, a bag of broccoli slaw or coleslaw, then this stuff, then homemade peanut sauce, and then peanuts and.
So an Asian salad. You're not
an Asian salad.
You say salad, I'm kind of thinking of like an American salad of greens. You're talking an Asian salad of noodles, peanuts, sauces,
cabbage,
delightfulness.
Yes.
Yeah, a little vinegar in there just to kind of give it a kick.
Yeah, like I make my own peanut sauce that's got like 8 or 10 ingredients in it. It's never the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I use dried peanut powder, I use crunchy peanut butter, hoisin, sriracha, rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, ginger, lime, and maple syrup sometimes. And you try it and what's it missing? Try it, what's it missing? So it's yeah. And I'll buy a 2-foot section of pork belly and do that up, and then just freeze up like a 2 or 3 pack of strips at a time. And they keep for like the one we had yesterday. I think I did a year or 2 years ago. So vacuum sealed, they just last. Yeah, they come out and last night in the tacos, those we'll definitely be doing those again. Like those were tasty.
You have a meat slicer?
Yes, I haven't used it yet.
Have you?
I have one on the shelf. It was on sale and I wanted one, so I picked one up. But
that's funny. I haven't used it yet. The jerky I have been, beef jerky has just been revolutionary for us in a lot of ways. But I would do it more if I had a meat slicer. And
that's why I bought it.
Then I have but then it's another thing to sit in the kitchen, right? Another thing to clean when I bought a really sharp kind of boning knife that's good to slice at, or we just have a really long, super sharp meat knife that you can just kind of hold on either end and kind of slice down through those to get them through. There seems to be with beef a sweet spot on the frozenness. You don't want it too frozen because you can't get the knife in it. If it's too loose, then it's kind of slimy and you don't get the good straight cuts that you're looking for. But I have thought about, the other thing I've thought of, and somebody was like, why don't you just take it to the counter and have them slice it for you, right?
I don't know about you guys, but our Costco now is actually slicing, and I think they're doing it for Blackstones. but they're slicing ribeye, they're slicing
Yeah.
pork, they're slicing blade roast or pot roast, and they're selling it like sort of 16th of an inch thick, and like 3 pounds of it already sliced, ready for you to go.
What for jerky? What's your what do you think for thickness wise? What do you think you would?
I like it
What
a
do you
little
like?
thicker.
Yeah.
I like it like 3/8 to a quarter inch,
Okay.
and then when it finishes, it's about an eighth of an inch thick.
Yeah.
Like I want to have something that can I got to pull a little
Yeah.
bit,
Quarter is what I think is what I'm shooting for. How many
and that's why I bought
millimeters is
this.
that?
What's that?
What's a quarter in millimeters? Is that five?
Uh, it's 6.
Six?
Because
Okay.
25 is an inch, so 12 and a half is half inch, so 6 1/4. But that's why I bought the slicer, was for I want to do some jerky because I hated having to slice it up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Same
and
person.
it was on
Same
sale.
person right now.
Yeah.
Same person right now. Yeah, I do it a lot more. My oldest granddaughter just loves when we make beef jerky. And so every time she's over, she's like, Grandpa Jim, did you make some beef jerky? And I need to be, that's one of those. And it's so easy to make. Like, and I've been slicing it the day before, put it in with a marinade, let it marinate overnight, add a little salt and pepper to it, put it on the smoker, walk away.
Yeah. I do about 4 hours for a cook of slices, and I'll do 2 batches in a day on my
4 or
big grill.
5. Yeah, 4 or 5 for me. It depends on how cold it is out there, right? But yeah, no, it's been a great, and I like it a little crispy. Some people like the kind of the chewy. I kind of like the crispy. I'm the one eating the bacon that got burnt. So that's kind of my that's kind of my philosophy on that. But it makes for good. That's one of those. And I think we'll probably, like everything, we'll probably see a rebound or I think they'll get the
Adjustment.
beef situation figured out and beef will come back in line. We'll never go back to the way it was, but
No,
I think
just
it's
like gas. Gas prices aren't going down again.
Yeah, no, I think we're done with that. Yeah.
No, for like, and it's. I think what we're finding is that we're not going out.
100%.
We're eating 100%. A lot more at home.
Yeah, for sure.
Than we are.
For sure.
And so when we go out now for a meal, it's a special meal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of the way it used to be. And then,
there
was a time, I always think, there was this time, 90s, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, right before the financial crisis, or maybe even after it, like, where, boy, the wages caught up and prices were down and you could just afford just about anything. And that didn't last too long, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not paying $17 now to go to McDonald's for a crap burger and a fry and
for sure.
Tonight we had my wife went semi-retired in January, so she's home 2 days a week now. So tonight I got home at 4:30. She just finished making some homemade chicken burgers, but they were Greek chicken burgers stuffed with feta, and made them on the grill. Made them, put them in the fridge. They're about 1/3 of a pound each cooked with the bun. They were fantastic. It was just a Greek seasoning mix with some crumbled feta, and put them on the smoker at 375 for about 15, 18 minutes till they were 172 degrees. They got a little bit more done than I wanted to, but not really going to worry about 7 degrees. And we had it with a salad, and that hit the spot. It was fantastic. And then, like, looking at that, like, they're better than burgers you would buy at a grocery store, and significantly better than any fast food burger.
Yeah.
And healthier.
We've gotten hooked on sweet Thai chili burgers.
Yeah.
Where, ginger and, ginger and garlic and maybe a little soy, make the burger, put that in there. And then you get a little chili sauce, little aioli sauce with sriracha, right? And then the magic is those French fried onions that you pull out, put on top, toast those buns, put the aioli on. Wait, toast the buns with butter, put the aioli on there with oh my dude.
Well, that flavoring.
I'll never put cheese on a hamburger again. You're like, why? This is so delicious.
Tonight we had tzatziki and Dijon mustard on a burger.
Oh yeah.
On that,
I could see that.
The Greek chicken burgers with tzatziki and Dijon mustard, and it was It was perfect.
So
Yeah.
feta in the meat before, or
Yeah,
folded in,
it was
or
crumbled,
added
so
in,
it was just
crumbled in.
added
Okay.
like seasoning
Okay.
mix. The
Yeah.
only thing I was missing, and I told my wife this afterwards, is if we'd thought about it, I would have made pickled red onions and put that
Oh.
on it too,
Oh yeah.
and that would have been. Last year I made
Yeah.
3 or 4 batches of pickled onions, and
Yeah.
they were just.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
easy and so tasty. But
Yeah.
pulled pork with that is that just brings
Hey,
up a whole other
have
notch.
you quick pickled cucumbers and then added them like to your street tacos, or to with the quick pickling, so you get the vinegar, but
Yeah,
they're not slimy, and
yeah.
they're still crunchy, and so instead of lettuce, you get cucumber crunch on that, and oh
Have
my
you seen the
god,
celery?
so good.
Quick pickled celery?
No, I haven't. Wait a minute. Same
Same
concept,
idea.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stuff your
Yeah.
jar full vertical of
Okay.
celery stalks, and then
Yeah.
fill it up with a brine and let it sit in the counter for a couple hours,
Yeah, not even that. Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
start. Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
we quick pickle in an hour. I mean, it or half an hour in some cases, right? You're just trying to get that. You're just trying to get that vinegar basically
yeah.
into
And
the
then because we're Canadian, we use maple syrup instead of sugar.
because we're Canadian. Oh, that had a smoky. That adds a smoky. By the way, I add a little bit of maple syrup to my old fashions to get some
Oh yeah.
smoky maple.
Well, I use instead of making
Fashions.
whiskey sours, I used to make maple whiskey sours. So instead of
Yeah.
using simple syrup, I
Okay.
use maple
Yeah,
syrup.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Canadians. That's the best thing you've ever given to the world, by the way. Maple syrup. So like real maple syrup,
Real
not this
maple. Well,
crap.
I used to buy it from a guy that was a manager of one of the branches I looked after, and he would sell it $17 Canadian for a 60 ouncer of
Mm,
homemade maple syrup,
mm.
and it was black, like it was
Dark,
dark.
grade A,
Yeah,
triple A stuff. Yeah.
he used to sell it in Wiser.
Ooh.
He was a big drinker, so he used to have all sorts of Wiser whiskey bottles,
Mm.
and he'd sell it to you in Wiser whiskey bottles.
That's great. That's great. That's a
Yeah, it
great
was
reuse. Yeah.
$17 for a bottle,
Yeah.
and we buy 2 or 3, put them in the freezer. They last until the following year, and then so there's one
Yeah.
woman that was a bookkeeper, an accountant for him. She'd used to deal with all the branches. She'd place the order. This guy would sell like cases a year just to employees.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now we buy it from Costco.
So he tapped the tree and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
he
he did the
boiled it
whole
down.
thing. Yeah.
He did the whole shooting match.
Yeah, but they had acres of trees.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw one farm, and it's just crazy, they tap the tree, and then the lines go from tree to tree to tree to tree down the hill,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And it's just, and that's, I don't know, there's a season, right? It's in the,
Yeah.
is it in the spring? Is it in the
It's in the
spring?
spring. It's when
Yeah.
it's when the sap runs, when it goes from -5 at night to +5 during the day.
Yeah.
So it's only that it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 days. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched a thing this week, and it was they were using vacuum to pull it out of the tree.
Mm.
So they'd actually have a vacuum system that would pull it in. It would do acres of trees, pull it into a big vat,
Yeah.
and they had a dual system so that when one was vacuum, the other one was draining, and then they had a valve, and then the second one would drain, and the first one would vacuum. And
God bless Canada. Thank you for the maple syrup stuff. I get we buy Knob Creek makes a maple syrup whiskey
yeah,
kind of thing, and it's smoked maple, so you get both, right? You get both flavors in there, and man, that in an old fashioned is just something to behold. I have to keep it away from me because I'll add it to everything.
we got
You'd be
some
like, "Oh, you
maple
wanna try
cream
this?"
from a local distillery up here. We probably have
Mm.
4 or 5 different maple,
Yeah.
like local maple ones.
Yeah.
I got some smoked maple syrup from a place in wine country near here. A little jar of, I don't know how the guy did it, but he made smoked maple syrup.
Oh man.
So
good. What's the craziest thing you've ever put maple syrup on? Do you think? What do you think? You're like, we shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna give it a try.
well, I use maple syrup in my spaghetti sauce when I make it every time.
Really?
Every time. And chili.
Really? I haven't
Yeah.
thought. I haven't chili. Like
Chili.
regular
and-
chili.
Yeah.
You're throwing some maple syrup in there.
A couple of tablespoons of maple syrup to cut the acidity from the tomatoes.
Oh.
So the Italians put sugar in.
Right. Right.
We put in maple syrup. So if I make spaghetti sauce or chili, it usually has a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup in it, and it's right
That's
near the
worth
end.
that's worth the podcast right here. Is a little. I'll have to try that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do my chili, spaghetti sauce and chili are always the same way. They're always in a crock pot.
Right.
They're always about an 8-hour cook. Um, they're always full to the top of veggies and stuff. Like I have a hard time putting the meat in, and then it reduces down. So all the liquid comes into it um, from the veggies. So you pulling all that broth out of the veggies to make it up. And then about 5 o'clock at night, so it starts cooking like 10 o'clock in the morning. About 5 o'clock, I'll put it onto low or to keep warm on the setting, and let it sit there and get some of the moisture out of it, and then try it, and then start tailoring the taste. So adding a little more salt or a little more sweetness or whatever I'm going to do to it. And every time a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup go into it, just to sort of finish it off and to cut off some of the acidity.
I like it. I like it. Mark, okay, listen, you and I have been doing this a long time, maybe 10, maybe 10 years of shows on Grill Barbecue.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about the meals you make, and I was always jealous of them. When the pandemic hit, we started cooking ourselves, and I actually took a lot of inspiration from a lot of the things that you had said to try different stuff out. But when you think about, I mean, you have an insane food schedule. How do you manage all that? Because it's not just having stuff there. You got to think through this. I need these and this components and this kind of stuff. And so as you think about building your weekly food budget, your weekly food items,
Menu.
things you're going to eat. Yeah, menu. There you go. That's the right word. How do you do that?
We tend to, especially in the winter, cook a bigger meal on the Sunday.
Okay.
We don't tend to cook a lot during the week because by the time we get home, I'm just tired. I don't want to be trying to. We have some staples, like we make frittatas once a week, which is an omelet. Like that's we called it frittata growing up. We don't flip it. You cook the whole thing in the pan, then toss the whole thing into the oven to cook the top. So that's called a frittata. So we'd have that, but we'll do that. We'll also do casseroles. We'll do baked spaghettis. We'll do chilies, the shepherd's pies, so that lasts us for 3 or 4 meals, and then we fall back on the pastas and the spaghetti sauces. My wife's got a great recipe for a simple marinara that is just basically crushed tomatoes, sugar, salt, garlic, and some onion, and that with whatever dried pasta we find or some gnocchi but it's a lot of, we try and get much of the sort of front load the week.
Okay.
And then by the time we get to the Friday, we're trying to scramble to figure out what we're going to have now. Like it's all those memes you see about getting married is sort of asking your wife every night, what are we having for dinner?
What are we having for dinner? Yeah, but think about, so as you're thinking about your front loading the week with a big meal on the weekend.
Yeah.
When do you start thinking about what you're going to do on the weekend? Like, what's that process to get
Thursday,
ready
Friday?
Friday,
I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. So so I got a busy weekend coming up, but I'm already thinking about midweek. I was thinking about cooking on the Blackstone, the peppers and onion, Philly cheesesteak style, Italian style peppers and onions, right? Nice. Yeah. So I've been thinking about this for a little bit. We got peppers and onions in the house already. I got to go pick up some hoagie buns for it and some provolone, but everything else we already have. So it's just a matter of prepping it now and then cooking it. But I've already thinking about, okay, what do I want to cook? But to me, cooking is a hobby.
Right.
So we'll invite some friends over and say, like, this is what we're going to have this night. Or, but I'm thinking about it as like some guys play hockey and like, okay, what game am I going to play this weekend, or go golf? Or, to me, it's what we're going to cook this weekend.
It's a routine. You've kind of in a routine. Like, so on Thursdays, you start thinking, we do something similar where on Sundays, we kind of plan out the next week's or Saturdays, Sundays. Then Sarah will shop to get the stuff that, we'll build a plan. Then she'll shop to make sure we need the things we got for the week, and then execute those during the week. We kept our HelloFresh cards.
Yes.
And so we sometimes will sit down and pull the recipes out, say, well, we're going to make these 3 during the week, and then she'll shop for the various things that we need along those lines. And then lately we've been substituting. So it'll be like, I'll see the card and it'll be like, okay, but we're not doing this. Like we're gonna do this and that, and kind of instead of this and that kind
But
of thing.
that's all part of the fun, right? It's all
Yeah,
part of
for sure.
experimentation. Like my wife, because she's now retired, is taking, like, she was proud of the last 2 meals she made because it was like she bought a cabbage head. We have another one making. Uh, Facebook is fantastic for recipe ideas.
Yeah.
So we found one that was a carrot and red cabbage and dumplings um, salad is, I guess, the best way of describing it, but with a sesame oil, soy sauce, ginger, white wine vinegar dressing, and it's delicious and fresh and bright. And so she went and bought a cabbage that was crazy expensive. It was $14 for a head of cabbage, a red cabbage.
Wow.
Cuts into the thing, it's rotten. So she was livid.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you take it back? She's like, no, it's already in the garbage. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I thought we were going to have fried egg sandwiches for dinner. And then she says, no, so I figured something else out. So she talked to ChatGPT, said, I have these ingredients.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
And she changed it from cabbage to cucumbers and then tailored the dressing a little bit and put it on a bed of rice. And she made a poke bowl from the.
Oh.
So she went from one idea to another idea.
Yes. Yes.
And that was last night, 2 nights ago.
Oh, man. That's a great
Last
idea.
night was the pork belly tacos.
Yeah.
Tonight was the chicken burgers, Greek chicken burgers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're having tomorrow night yet, but she's now looking after that because I'm in the office, so she's at home. So I'll come home tomorrow. I might have something to cook. I might not have something to cook, but we try and have a cheat treat night. We're trying to eat healthier. But we have one night a week that we're on to eat. We don't worry about it. It tends to be chicken wings in the summer on the barbecue.
Oh yeah.
I've been doing them lately that I cook them till they're getting crispy, and then I'll toss them into buffalo sauce and then put them back on the grill for another 20 minutes. Yeah. And all the moisture soaks back into the wing again, and you end up having somewhat spicy wing, but not overpowering.
Yeah.
Right on the wing, but they're dry because she hates wet wings.
Oh, okay. I love wet wings. That's especially with a little bit of warm ranch or room temperature.
Yeah.
Some people also would say ranch, and then if you can get a hot ranch like with a little cilantro in there or a little sriracha.
Yeah. Well, I do my
yes.
I get them hot and I put them into a dipping sauce on top of that of Frank's with some other stuff in it.
Frank's is good, yes.
So, but these are soaked in Frank's when they're 3/4 done cooking and then tossed back on the grill. So they're dry for her like she likes them, and then I put more Frank's on it to make it hotter for me. And Frank's is not a hot sauce, but it's just enough is zippy.
Yeah.
But she likes it because she gets the heat, but she still has dry fingers. She doesn't have the stickiness all over.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple of pounds of those in the freezer. So we might end up having those tomorrow night because it's supposed to be a nice night. We finally have nice weather.
What do you cook your wings at when you put them on?
400.
Okay, so it's pretty high.
But for like an hour and a bit.
Okay, yeah.
Like they're 205, 210 when they're done. Like they're done. Yeah,
they're hot. But you got a lot of sauce on them.
Right? Yeah, but they're dry.
Right.
But they're tasty.
Yeah.
This is something else I did last summer. I was just looking through. It's funny because I go through Google Photos and try and find something to talk about.
It's great that you take pictures of all this stuff, right? It's awesome that you've got some evidence of what we got here. What do we got?
So top shelf is stuffed mushroom caps with cream cheese and cheddar cheese and some flavorings. Bottom left is smoked cream cheese with dill pickle seasoning on it. And bottom right is just Italian sausage sliced up into medallions. So it was we had some friends over and it was a real simple one thing, one cook. And
it's almost a heavy hors d'oeuvres, right?
Yeah.
At this point, you've just kind of made a heavy
hors
d'oeuvres
dinner. We don't need more. We don't need more food than that. Like that was filling.
No. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Are you kidding me?
I think that was 4 people.
Yeah. You could even, like, one of the things we've been doing a lot of lately is like slicing up the potatoes tiny.
Yep.
And then just high heat and getting them crispy. And then you got you can mix them with a little bit of oil. And man, that is such a good flavor. Like, that is such a good flavor. And so you can add those in. The other day we just did baked tater tots that were, we were doing, we did breakfast. So we did breakfast bowls. So scrambled eggs, bacon, little crispy bacon, a little bit of sausage mixed together and warmed up. You could add some guac to that if you wanted to. You could add some salsa to that if you wanted to. You could change that salsa up. You can do the guac and the salsa together if you want to, right?
But it's just fun. It's just
Yeah,
experimenting, right? Like
no,
it's
for sure. Yeah,
like I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Like I couldn't draw a stick figure, but I can
you can
cook.
cook like a madman.
But I've had some disasters. But it's
Oh, sure, you have to,
start,
right?
you only learn by doing the stuff. You only know what not to do by doing the stuff that doesn't work out.
Yeah. Mark, I think it was Mike Howard. You and Mike Howard were on the show. We were talking about this chicken cooker.
Yeah.
It's a plate on the bottom, right? And you put a
Weber.
It's well, no, it's the beer can. It's the beer can, but it's all in one kind of thing. It's got So I bought that. I still have it. I bought that, put the chicken in, we marinate it, did some other stuff, right? Put it on the grill. Freaking thing caught fire. Like in the middle of the just toasted it, right? Hey, every once in a while you're grilling.
You're gonna goof. That's when you call pizza.
Have some. Yeah, I've burnt that chicken. I've burnt some turkey a little bit from time to time too.
But I've made those pork belly strips that were too overdone, and then being like rock hard, like you can play drums with them, like it hits. But next time I didn't do that, right?
No.
And I've done ribs too long, and they end up being tough and falling away from the bone, but not in a good way. So you start learning, and booze doesn't always help either. You start getting distracted when you have entertaining and drinking, and so timers are great. You have to make sure you have timers on.
Well, last show you and I were talking about it, and you taught me to cook to temperature. That's the thing you've taught me. Like, and my Insta thermometer thing is God, right? That is everything for us. But also have learned to make sure there's timers set, because you know what? An instant thermometer does not measure itself.
No, that's what I'm saying with a timer. You have to go out there and remember to.
Yeah. It doesn't measure itself. It's not. No. It's not good. Well, and I've got a meter, so I could, in some cases, you could have a meter out there that plugged into the, pushed into the meat, so to speak. Meter, MEA.
Yep.
MEET, right? But still, you still got to have some timers. I have always found, for me, and a lot of the meats that we do, that first drop is a 7-minute drop. Here, I'll put your thing up here. It's a 7-minute drop. So I set every timer to 7 minutes. Like, okay, the next time I look at this should be 7 minutes from now.
That's 30 seconds.
That just seems to be a good first check.
This is a 30-second timer when I'm doing these.
Yeah. Well, you've got 1,000 degrees going on inside the pizza.
It's 800 degrees when they're cooking. And you got to spin it every 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, but what's the total cook time on a pizza?
Minute and a half.
Okay. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. But if you don't turn it with the 30 seconds, you start getting starts getting burnt because the back's a lot hotter in the front.
Yep.
And that's why I put them on
pizza. You have a pizza thing spinner.
A peel?
Get in there, turn it. Yeah.
This is just, I'm using my my Komodo Joe just as something to put the pizza on, but you can see the mesh discs underneath it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those have been lifesavers for us. So we have 3 of those that we spray with oil and then dust them with flour, and grab that with a tong and just spin it.
Yeah.
So pull the door off of it, spin it, push the door back in.
Yeah.
Do that. The first one takes about 1.5 minutes. The second one, first one takes about 1:15. By the time I'm doing 3 or 4 of them, it takes about 3 minutes to do them.
Yeah.
Because it loses so much heat every time you do it.
Yeah. So, they look delicious though. What do you got? Was that a chicken pizza?
That was a meat lovers. That was pepperoni, Italian sausage, pancetta probably.
Okay.
With a tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese. So there's a grocery chain up here called Metro, which is like an Aldi or whatever the other national chains.
Low end change.
No, it's so Metro is sort of mid.
Okay.
It's not like a Whole Food, but it's sort of one level down from that.
Like a Baker's or a Kroger's.
Okay. And they have, some of their stores have actual pizza ovens in them, and they'll cook pizzas right there, and they sell the dough as a kit, and the dough is tasty. So we've been making it for years, and then I think it was last year or this year, or like last summer. Um, I said like we're always trying to pull the dough, and we're always leaving it in the fridge till we need to use it because you buy it in the fridge, so I take it home, put it in the fridge,
Right.
and experimenting because that's what you do. I left the dough on the counter one time. Like I'm gonna leave it, let it warm up to room temperature before. So I left it for the afternoon on the counter. It blew the bag apart. It actually put a hole in the bag and they're popping at the side of the. So I'm like,
Great.
okay. So next time we did it, we put it into an oil bowl. So we got it home, pulled it out of the bag, put it into an oil bowl, and put a tea cloth on top of it, and it doubled in size, and it became significantly easier to work with.
Yeah.
And we pay $10 for a kit, $10 or $11 for a kit, and we get 4 pizzas this size, which I think are 12 inches.
Yeah.
And the dough's tasty. That it
Yeah.
puffs up nice. Like it's you could take the dough and make focaccia out of it. Like it's a good tasting dough. It's all fresh.
Okay.
So we don't bother making our dough. We just go and buy the dough kit and
how is your pizza oven fired?
pellets.
Pellet. Oh, so it's a pellet. And then
I have
how long does it take to come up to temp?
10 minutes.
Okay.
I have a picture of it. There it is.
Okay. Yeah. And you regret it at all?
No, I paid $50 for
it. So obviously no. It's got a tray you pull out, you put the pizza on, you push it back in,
No.
Okay.
It's got a stone at the bottom, so there's a little wooden handle there. You lift the handle up, and it's got a ceramic stone at the bottom.
Got it.
The flame is right underneath that chimney at the back.
Yep.
Not sure if you can see.
It's an uni, right?
Yeah.
It's an uni. Yeah.
It's a first generation uni.
Yeah.
So the wood pellets go back here. There's a little tray at the very back of it to put the wood pellets in to start it with. And that ceramic cup is my pellet holder, and I just pour pellets down as it needs it. And I fire it up. It takes 15, 20 minutes to warm up. Yeah. Do my 3 or 4 pizzas on it. Typically, we have friends over to do it. And
yeah, we got to get our pizza game on. We do pizzas in the stove, and it's fine. Like Sarah's really good at making pizzas, but I'm not. I have never gotten into the pizza making thing. I don't, Mark. I don't know why. I'm not good at it.
I have a friend who's religious. Like he plays with dough like the same way I play with barbecue. And he's like, here's a recipe, but I tweaked it and I do this now and I do that now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I like my dough I can buy from the grocery store or Papa John's. Do you have Papa John's down there?
We do.
So Papa John's up here.
They're struggling, but we do.
Will give you dough if it's just outside of their window of when they can use it. So they have to make dough every day, and then they have to use it within 5 or 7 days or something. And if it gets to that window, they're like, yeah, you guys can just call us up after you want some dough and we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So
Papa John's or Papa Murphy's?
Papa John's.
Papa John's. Okay. Yeah. We have both, but yeah, Papa Murphy's was the take and bake. So you get it from, and those were actually pretty good too. That was a good, maybe I should get maybe that's like, I kind of been trying to figure out, well, I do need to replace the gas grill. Every time I talk to you, you try to convince me to buy a Weber, which I still have never bought. Like you've even found one.
I did.
Within, like, 20 feet of me. You were like, go buy this one right now. I just haven't done it yet.
It's a challenge, right? So life is boring unless you have challenges. So mastering something new is
right on.
And I don't have that anymore. I'm down to one charcoal grill, and I'm actually debating on selling it and trading down for one smaller because it's just too big for what we need. We don't use it a whole lot.
Right.
The Yoder gets used 80% of the time. My Rectech gets used another 10% of the time, which is for overnight cooks. Right. The charcoal egg gets used like 5%, and then the other 5% is going to go between the pizza oven and the griddle.
Mm-hmm.
But the pellet, my Yoder is used majority of the time.
Yeah,
like walk outside, hit the button.
I go gas. You go pellet.
Yeah.
On this. Yeah. Maybe I just need to get more comfortable. Maybe this is the problem. My pellet, my Austin XL is covered.
Yeah,
and my grill isn't. So, my grill I bought in 1994. Like I've refitted that thing, so I don't care. But it's easy to get to. You just, turn the light it up and start throwing stuff on it. Where the pellet smoker got to pull and that pellet smoker cover is like custom.
It's big.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and you gotta kind of, we're thinking of building a pergola over the patio and then moving all the grill equipment into one area that's covered. And I think that may make sense. This is where I was thinking like maybe I'd get the same size Blackstone that you got, where you could then quickly fire that thing up if you wanted to do burgers or grill onions. It's listen, you think those Blackstones are good for burgers, and they are. Don't get me wrong, but you said fajita a couple times. The onions and the peppers and that kind of stuff on there. Oh
For
man!
breakfast.
Now you could do it in a pan, right? You can do that stuff in a pan, but certainly nice to be able to do it out there on a seasoned grill, right?
Well, we do. So we do a family barbecue every year, and we get 12 to 15 people showing up. And I'm getting tired of giving everybody pulled pork every time. So this year we're talking about maybe we're gonna do sausage and peppers this year.
Mm-hmm.
So just as something different to do. But I want to play with the Blackstone first. And the other part of it is if I use it for a year and I find I'm not using it a lot or I'm not enjoying it, I'll sell it for what I put into the actual purchase. I'll
Yeah,
lose some
yeah,
money on
yeah.
the accessories and stuff, but
Right,
it's not like I'm buying it for
no,
$1,000 and losing $1,000.
right, right,
It's
right.
my dad calls it the opportunity cost of fun money.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, you're good at that. I am not good at that. This is one of the things I need. I am not good at selling things once I've bought them. I'm just not good at it. I just don't. I have a hard time doing that. The flip side of that is when I find something good, man, I ride that thing till it dies. I get every single ounce of value out of anything I've ever bought. My grill from 1994, case in point, right?
yeah,
That
it's
thing is
still
still,
going. Your
yeah,
car,
it's still going.
you did the same thing with your car, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
Civic Hybrid, you drove that to
yeah. I
the
drove that thing for until Sammy wrecked it, but I drove that thing for a long time. Yeah, to a quarter
yeah,
of a million miles, right?
yeah.
So, anyways, hey, before we go, anything as you're looking to the future, from a grill standpoint, anything you're keeping your eye on, or anything
I have my
that's out
hero.
there that's new right now?
I have my hero grills now. Um, I wanted a Yoder from the first time I saw one. Like they were the
Yeah,
hero pellet
yeah,
grill.
right.
I wanted my Komodo Joe Big Joe, the Jumbo Joe. I got that 2 or 3 years ago. Um, for me, this is a hobby that can't break the bank. So most of everything I bought, like my unis, I bought used, my Yoder I bought used, the Komodo I bought used, the Rectech I bought used. Um, I've only bought my very first charcoal grill I bought new, and my second charcoal grill I bought new, and that's it. And the Blackstone. Everything else has been
Hmm.
Facebook
Hmm.
Marketplace finds, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
not saying there's anything wrong with buying new stuff. I just
No, that's
it's
the
a
way that
hobby
works
that
for you.
I
Yeah,
can afford to buy 4 grills that are used versus 2 that are new.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and I get less looks from the wife when I'm doing that, and
Yeah.
the wow
Yeah.
factor is
No,
good.
no.
And but no, the only thing I would be looking at is you can get an upgrade kit for the controller for the Yoder,
Mm.
um, which I already have on I have a similar one on the Rectech where I've upgraded the stock controller to a Wi-Fi controller.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
on the Yoder, it's about $800 to do it, which is about what I paid for the grill. So I'm not as concerned
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And I don't need it if I have the Rectech has that feature. So if I do overnight cooks, I do it on the Rectech. Um, the Rectech's significantly bigger. So if I want to do, I could do 6 pork shoulders on the Rectech. Um, I could do 3 probably on the Yoder. So for the 2 of us cooking, I use the Yoder all the time.
Right.
If I'm going to do a big cook, I do it on the Rectech. So
Yeah.
I don't need to have one. I don't need to have 2 of them that can do overnight cooks. And I'm not worried about burning through the Rectech in the summer burns a pound an hour for pellets, and it's got
Yeah.
a 40-pound hopper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could fire the thing up Friday afternoon and run it until Sunday lunch, and it's still going to run. Like it's still.
Right. Right.
So I don't
Right.
need to do that with the Yoder, and the stock controller works.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see another grill. Part of the reason about the Blackstone is nothing else to buy.
Right.
I've had rotisseries, I've
Well,
had slow smokers, I've had
yeah. Do you
So
think like there was a golden age of grilling, right? Where it was super popular and everybody was doing it
COVID.
and right? Yeah, COVID. Yeah, 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 yeah. Is that gone? Are we back to a more sane, normal grilling space?
I think you're going to get a percentage of the population that still enjoys it as a
Yeah, for
hobby.
sure. For sure.
Um,
For sure.
like I use, to me, it's a social thing, right? Like I enjoy sharing food, so I cook. I invite friends over. Um, I enjoy showing. It's kind of showing off, but it's I enjoy doing stuff that other people
Yeah,
can't
heck
necessarily
yeah.
do.
Heck yeah.
I think you're going to get a percentage of people who do that. Um, but I talked to my buddy at work, and he bought a new house. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to go buy a pellet grill." I'm like, "You don't want to buy a pellet grill." And he looks at me and says, "You can't tell me what to do." I'm like, "Brad, I know you.
You can't tell me what to do.
I know you. I know your personality, and you're not going to put the maintenance into it, and you're going to
Yeah.
freak out when it has a fire, and you're going to like
Yeah.
the pellet grills take some maintenance.
Yeah.
Gas grills don't really. You use them for
No.
a year, you maybe do a little cleanup, and you're
You got to replace the burners from time to time.
yeah.
Got
But
to
a
replace
pellet grill
filters.
takes every 6 months, or well, depending on who you are. Some people do it every cook. I'm about every
Yeah.
6 months. I'll do a big cleanup and stuff, but
Right.
they
Right.
do take maintenance. You have fires occasionally. If you do something really greasy, then something high heat, you're gonna have a fire.
Yep. Yep.
I have 5 boxes of baking soda in my barbecue closet. They're right beside the door, so I can grab them and put the fire out. And the fire comes up, you put the fire out, and you keep on cooking. It's not a,
Right. Right.
but it's not as easy as gas, right? Gas became popular because it was easy.
Yeah.
Charcoal was popular in the 70s. Then gas came in, and everybody started using gas because it's so much easier. For the people, there's people who like electric barbecues. Um, I don't have gas. I don't think I really miss it. I can do everything I want with my pellet grill or my charcoal. Um, Nothing wrong with people who want to use gas. I remember I've seen some $30,000 gas grills. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
doesn't do anything for me. I'd love to have an outdoor kitchen, but I don't have the room for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I may be moving into a direction like that, but it'd just be a covered. Basically, it's just a covered area
Yeah.
that we would do for that.
That gazebo that was behind the pizza oven when it was up, that turns into a covered gazebo in the winter. So I have a tarp for it with doors on it, and I cook in there in the winter.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do
Yeah.
appies or smoked cheese or pulled pork, that's where I cook in the winter.
That's really the good time to do those things, isn't
Yeah.
it? Right. Yeah.
Smoked cheese,
Good time.
especially.
Well, Mark, we go on forever because this is what we do when we get together. But thanks for taking the time to jump in with me tonight and talk some. I'm hungry. I want to go grill. I want to go. I want to go smoke some stuff. I want to. It's. I need to do some. I COVID was a sweet time for those. I did a lot of that stuff. I've kind of pulled back a little bit from it. I need to. It's maybe a good reminder. I need to get back in because you mentioned this earlier. It takes a little bit of planning. You just can't come to it like, oh, I want to do some stuff. There's a little bit of planning, and then I think there's a little bit of shopping. I would for a longest time I'd go into the store and just hunt down beef deals to get for beef jerky. Be like, okay, anytime a London broil or anytime a top round would be on sale, I'd pick those up, and stock the freezer a little bit, and then they'd be there. That way, when you do need to make a quick decision, you can be like, okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge tonight. I'm going to slice it tomorrow, and then I'm going to put it in marinate. It's going to go overnight. Then I'm going to put it on the grill the next day because it does take a little bit of planning, right? I mean, it's not there. I guess there are some things like burgers and some of those kinds of things you can just do. And then we've kind of gotten into the prepackaged burgers from like our local grocery store
Yeah.
where they're not too processed. In some cases, they had cheese and bacon in them.
Or we do the
Those
same,
right?
at like a Whole Foods.
Yeah, you can throw those on pretty quick and
Yeah.
do some stuff with those. But just an opportunity to kind of prep a little bit, just to be. And then I think you said this when you were talking about it. I think there's a big benefit to a routine. Hey, on this day we start thinking about this.
Taco Tuesday.
We pick up these kinds of things because we're going to do it this way. Then we're going to let these things go through the week, and then midweek we're going to do this kind of thing. I think finding your own personal rhythm that works for your family and the family rhythms and some of those kinds of things. Certainly, listen, there's a lot of folks that listen to the show. They're out doing stuff with their kids a ton. Yeah, it's hard to do this kind of stuff, right?
But a pulled pork doesn't And people are like, well, I can't cook. Well, actually, so a quick story. I gave a Weber kettle to a friend. We just lost Jim. Oh, you're back. Gave a Weber kettle to a friend of mine that had a gas grill. I think it was for his 60th birthday. 50 or 60, I can't remember what it was. Anyways, it was it was a entry level kettle. I think I paid $50 for off of Facebook Marketplace. And I gave it to him. He's like, well, I'll never have time to cook this. I got 2 young kids. I'm never gonna have time. From that moment on, he never used his gas grill again.
Yeah.
So he used the kettle. Then he went and bought a Pit Boss pellet grill. And last time I talked to him, his gas grill was pushed to the road, and he only uses charcoal and pellet.
Yeah.
And it's like a pulled pork. People are like, well, I'm too busy on the weekend to do it. Like, when you have it set up, you don't touch it.
Right.
I put my pulled pork on at 9:00 at night. At 2:00, 3:00 in the afternoon, I pull it off and let it sit in the cooler for 3 hours. I haven't touched it from 9 till 3.
Right.
So I can do whatever I want that whole day.
Yeah.
Now, the one I cook it on, I can actually access through Wi-Fi, so I can actually check on it, see what the temperatures are. I can turn it off. I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
But on yours, even if you can't do Wi-Fi, I don't know if you can or not, but you're pretty safe. You need
I have the meter.
Yeah.
I use the meter.
So you have 15, 17 hours to monitor where it's going to be done.
Yeah. No, right. But that takes planning, Mark. You got to kind of plan in advance, right? You got to be like, okay, I'm going to get this on Friday night so that I can have it ready by 2 p.m. on Saturday. And then I'm going to put it in a cooler, and then we're going to have it Sunday, Saturday evening or whatever. It takes does take a little bit of planning.
I found COVID made me slow down my cooking.
Yeah.
Because I was already doing it. So I was doing it to be social. And when you couldn't be social anymore, I was doing less cooking. So I find since COVID, COVID's slowed down my amount of socialization over cooking. Yeah. So I have some friends I do it with, but a lot of the friends, my social group got smaller. It probably shrunk by half on people I see on a regular basis.
Yeah.
One other quick story. Some relatives that live about 5 hours away from us helped me buy a bike a few years ago. And as a thank you, I gave them some pulled pork. And they're always like, it's got to be quick. It's got to be easy. They use a pressure cooker all the time. And I gave them a couple of pounds of pulled pork as a thank you for helping me out. And I got a phone call from the guy, and he's like, so how long does it take you to cook that pulled pork? I'm like, 17 hours-ish, somewhere in that. Like 9 till 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he's like, okay, so that's why it tastes so good. Because he's starting to understand now that you can't always get instant results from.
Right.
So it was like, oh, that's cool. Like he's understanding now where this comes from, because they're a family of instantaneous gratitude or instant gratitude, right?
Well, people get busy. It's a thing. You get busy, you start, or whatever. You fall into routines, and so right on. Right on. Well, Mark, thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out with us all these years, and thanks for still having cords hanging on your wall every time we.
Maybe they'll be gone next year, or they'll say a message there next year.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You don't have to take them down. I just noticed them. I'm like, have they always been there on the wall? So it's super good. Can you hang tight while I close this thing up? Is that okay? Couple reminders on the way out. If you want to join in the Discord group, and there's a lot of us, not a lot of chat. Not a big commitment, but if you want to join in, you got a question, whatever, theaverageguy.tv/Discord, and you can jump in there. We'll let you in. Don't forget the averageguy.tv platform, web and media hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. You know that's Christian. And so check it out today. He's still got plans, $10 a month, maplegrovepartners.com, and appreciate his longtime sponsorship of the show. And always appreciate Christian. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, at theaverageguy.tv/live. Love to have you join us live. I think I'm going to take a couple weeks off if you're a live viewer, or if you're even a podcast listener that's listening to this on the recorded side. Maybe you normally come out live, but you're listening to the recording. Let me take a week or two off. It's been a busy couple weeks, and I could use a little bit of rest. But we'll get back to it. We'll get some folks scheduled. We'll see you out here live. Come join us live. If you can't do that, thanks for listening on the podcast side. If you made it this far, you're amazing. Thank you for hanging out Mark, I always say to Mark, we'll probably just go an hour. And then we always go an hour and a half. But Mark, thanks. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
All right, friend. Hey, live streamers, there's not. Actually, we're done. I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you guys. Mark, hang tight for me 1 sec.